doing very well in the charts. Good for Amy Poehler, winner of Best Podcast Award, obviously, at the Golden Globes. What's funny, a little funny story that I find to be amusing, and that's why I'm telling it. I've never met Amy Poehler. I think she's brilliant. She has a podcast, and she sent my producer an email saying that she wanted me on the podcast, which, like, immediately I was like, wait a minute, something's awry. And this, again, is just one of the funnier stories of what's happening right now in Los Angeles, because as you know, Los Angeles is cratering and many of the people who live here are not working. And, you know, you get it. We've gone over it. So apparently, this email that I got, which I'm going to read you right now. Let's start with the email. Let's actually read this email. A candid conversation on comedy and culture. So someone sends this email. Greetings, Tim. I hope this finds you well. My name is Julia, and I handle guest bookings for Amy Poehler, host of the Good Hang podcast. On the show, so immediately I'm like, wait, what? This is not to say anything bad about Amy Poehler. She has like Viola Davis on, right? And Ariana Grande, it's like a different thing. It's a different thing. Like, I don't think, right? On the show, Amy has real heartfelt conversations with people who are making a meaningful impact through their work and life. Now, I've listened to the show. Most of it is her asking these celebrities what time they go to sleep. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of it does seem to be that. How much water do you drink? When do you go to sleep? Hey, whatever, get the money. I have a ton of respect for her comedically in other avenues. But I've listened to it, and it's Ariana Grande comes in, and she's a little listless, and they come in, and, you know, they hit her with a little protein. She wakes back up. We would love to invite you to join her for an upcoming episode. Our listeners truly value honesty, growth, and authentic perspectives. Now, so immediately we get this email. My producer and me get this email. We're sitting there. We're kind of like dumbfounded because at the beginning we're kind of taken in by it. We kind of believe it, right? Our listeners value honesty, growth, and authentic perspectives. And your voice as a comedian and podcaster with sharp take on culture and modern life would make for an engaging and memorable conversation. Now, by the way, in my head, I'm going, why in God's name would she want this? Why would she want like a guy who might say something to ruffle feathers or whatever? Like, she's got A-list talent. They're brilliant. Like, go and get Meryl Streep. Why? I have nothing to do with this. So if this sounds like something you'd enjoy, I'd be glad to coordinate next steps to find a time that works best for you. Okay, so here's the great part of the email, right? We also offer competitive compensation in recognition of your time and participation. So now we read this, me and my producer read it. We don't think anything of it. This is how out to lunch I am. I don't think anything of the fact that after this whole email, which glazes me as this guy that has sharp takes on the cultural climate that are badly needed over at Good Hang, okay? Which is, by the way, like the last thing they need is that their show's doing great because it has a great formula that works. Jonathan Groff comes on or another celebrity, and then she asks them if they're lactose intolerant. It's fine. It's a great thing that works for everyone. So why in God's name are you going to have me screaming about Iran or something? It makes no sense. No sense at all. And I don't think she has, it's a good show. Like, it's a laid back, relaxed show, and she gets eye contact. She's like a comedic icon, truly. I think Amy Poehler is like legit. You know what I mean? Is she the greatest podcaster in the world? Who knows? Maybe not. I don't know. It's too soon to tell. But she brings these people on. She asks them, what temperature do you like your water? You like it? Some people say cold water is not good for you. And then the celebrity goes, well, I used to do cold. Now I do kind of a warmer water, mixed temperature water. So it's interesting. It's fascinating. Now, so they write this email. We also offer competitive compensation in recognition of your time and participation. If this sounds like something you'd enjoy, I'd be glad to coordinate the next step and find a time that would work for you. Now, this looks legit. They have the thing of the show. The whole thing is there. They have the logo of the show. It looks like a real episode, right? So I call a few people that are like in the world of whatever. And I go, do you think it's possible that Amy Poehler wants me on her show? And they go, maybe. And I go, really? They go, yeah, she's in the podcasting space. This is how people in Los Angeles talk. They go, you're in the space. She's in the space. It's very possible. And I go, really? I'm like, do you think this is legit? They go, yeah, very possibly. So then I call my manager because I have the same manager as Amy Poehler. So one thing I will say about my manager is that I respect that he's honest. He's usually like touring a horse farm or in Thailand, but he is honest. He'll answer his phone and he'll tell you exactly where he is. Like, me and my wife are thinking about buying a volcano. And what do you think about volcanoes? I was like, I don't know. They seem volatile. He goes, right. That's what I thought. But I said, do you think Amy Poehler wants me on her show? And he goes, oh, I don't think so. And immediately, because of course. So then he goes, send me the email. He goes, let me tell you what's been happening. Let me tell you what's been happening. Because this is one of the funniest stories. He goes, this is a scam email that's been going out to a bunch of people. And so many people are angry because they think they're booked on Amy Poehler's show. And this is a scam email. And he goes, does it say anything about compensation? And we get the email up. We go, yeah. Quote, we also offer competitive compensation in recognition of your time and participation. He goes, the next email is you send your bank info. The next email is you send your banking information to whoever is doing it. By the way, what a hilarious, brilliant scam. And again, Amy has nothing to do with it, but somebody decided that this would be a fun scam to just reach out to people. And I'm sure, and here's what's sad about this. This is being emailed to people that are so excited to get booked on this show because of the state of LA right now and how these people haven't worked in a while. And, but they still have a home and they're paying a mortgage, but they're looking at the money in the bank. The hourglass is turned over and it's getting less and less every month. And, so there's definitely, and because my manager told me, he goes, yeah, there are people calling in going, we're really excited about this. And they're not, no one booked them on the show. Because again, she's got like A-list people on the show. She doesn't want me on the show. And by the way, if I ran her show, I'd go, you don't have that guy. What is that? What do you need, an alternative take on Ukraine? What is this? Is going to guys who haven't worked in years and they're telling their families, your father got booked on Amy Poehler's podcast today. Like the mother is saying that, like they're all having dinner in Encino and the mother's going, your father, who not only just did a guest starring role in The Pit, okay, he was on that gurney, he's Amy Poehler just reached out. And the kids are like, whoa, Dad, that's fucking awesome. And he goes, I met Amy years ago. And we had a nice little conversation. But I cannot believe that she has followed me and wants me on this show. And the wife says to him, did I not tell you that something was going to happen out of nowhere? And you were going to kind of get back into this thing. And she goes, this is you're going to go on that show. You're going to be charming. You're going to be one of the good guys. You're going to show people that there's good guys in this town. And you go on there and he's going to go, I can't believe it. When I got that email, I didn't even know this woman knew I existed. So then they send him the follow-up email. We'll put in your bank information. So then, 3 days later, they're sitting in Encino having dinner again. And the kids are there, and the kids are like, Mom and Dad, what's wrong? And then the mother goes, well, apparently, the Amy Poehler podcast email your father got was a scam. And your father put our bank account information in because they told him they were going to pay him $1,500 to do this podcast. So now a lot of the money out of our bank was cleared out. They've frozen our accounts and we're having real issues right now. I thought that the father goes, I thought it was weird. I hadn't spoken to her in so long. So that's what's happening right now. So if you get an email from the Tim Dillon Show, the show without guests, don't give anyone your bank account information. But there's nothing fun. By the way, there's nothing funnier than a guy having to explain to his wife that their accounts are frozen because he fell prey to the Good Hang podcast email scam. Nothing bad. There's
Tim Dillon on his show went off and exposed Bryan Callen. Yes, he was talking about Bryan Callen. Just put in YouTube, Bryan Callen, Amy Poehler scammed. Now, the thing he exposed, though, when Callen told the story of him getting scammed by the Amy Poehler podcast, Tim just explained how they did the same thing to Callen. He left out one little part, though, that kind of explains this whole thing and why he so fell for it. Callen never mentioned the money part. Callen just mentioned he got invited on the Amy Poehler podcast and that he ultimately found out it was a scam. By the way, Callen never mentioned that he did, in fact, give up his bank account info. Although Shaw pushed him on that and he never gave a full answer because he did. But now it makes sense because everyone was questioning, how did you make it to that point, though? How did people not step in at some point along this email chain and go, dude, I think you're getting scammed? Well, when they're offering money and you're Bryan Callen, who's so desperate for money right now, for whatever reason, you're willing to do it. Callen's that desperate for money. He got scammed by the Amy Poehler podcast scam thing, and they got his bank account info, and you so know that they did. Dillon's laughing about it. He doesn't name Callen by name, but come on, people. We only one comedian came forward and told us about this scam. Plus, you don't think behind the scenes they're all talking about Callen, making fun of him? Tim Dillon said he made a call. You don't think he just called Rogan and Rogan said, oh, that shit fucking Callen. They got him 4 months ago. And he detailed the story to Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon goes on his show and he changes enough around. So, so when Callen calls him, Tim Dillon gets to go, hey, I never said you by name, and I changed stuff. I said Encino. You live in Austin, but he's talking about Callen. It's just hilarious that Tim Dillon, like everyone else, laughing, but Callen left out the money part, which explains things. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.